Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, GeoSound, Podchaser, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, balancing out all the bad news out there with some good news so that we're not saying what's wrong with people, but instead we're saying what's right with people, what's right with the world, and what is right with you and me. And I'm so delighted because today marks the beginning of my 555th consecutive week on the air. And Polly, if you could hit that applause, because I can't seem to find my... Thank you so much. I have lost control somehow of my mouse's pad. So Polly, I'm gonna rely on you. And he just did the wonderful affirming applause. That's my first gratitude today. Taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich this morning. You all know the drill. I like to start the day with breakfast with you so that we can sandwich our day with as much positive energy. Why? Because it just feels better, number one. Two, it is Monday. And I know that people sometimes have a little issue with Mondays, but it is a great day. Monday. And so I want you to be grateful with me. So if you're streaming in, I saw a couple of eyeballs come in on LinkedIn, on my Facebook, as well as my central hub for all my 843 shows so far. That is my YouTube channel. So please do go there and stream in and chat today's topic. I'm grateful that I have some tools for helping people balance out the holiday blues with you end up green, because I add a little bit of yellow sunshine or golden sunshine to the mix. And that's what we're doing today. I had one of my coaching clients ask me, I know I shouldn't be blue, but I can't help it. And I just don't like this season. So today I thought I would give you some specific tools. And if I can manage to find my mouse who's run away, I'm going to actually play you a little excerpt from my chapter called Out of Loss into Faith. So it's not just a light bulb. You can't just stop feeling bad, but there are processes that you can use and some free tools that we'll go through today to help you with that. And of course, Asian Oprah giveaway is an audiobook copy of my best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. So that's what's up for today's show. And I'm grateful, number two, for tomorrow's show that I have already in the docket, because I'll be flying tomorrow and on an airplane. I'm leaving on a jet plane back to my home where I was born. Actually, it's Kitchener-Waterloo, but I'm not going there because my mom, who has Parkinson's, who's 88, and she's now in palliative season of life. So I know, I was just there in September. She had a miraculous recovery from the hospital, almost died. She had sepsis, pneumonia, 40 pulse, 40 blood pressure. And amazingly enough, She pulled out of that. So I am going to spend 2 weeks there for Christmas. But I have lots of great shows lined up for you, starting with tomorrow. His name's Peter Lawson Jones. I believe that's the order of those three names. I bumped into him in the elevator here in my building. His daughter lives here. Wonderful man. He kind of looks like, gosh, I'm horrible with names. Who's the guy? The Rock. That's all you need to know. He kind of looks like that. And he's in the new holiday movie that's coming out with Tom Hanks. So he got to work with Tom Hanks, and the movie is called A Man Called Otto. And so he's coming on tomorrow morning for you. He was live in studio, but it's a nice pre-recording for you to enjoy his interview and get to know him, get to know Tom Hanks, and someone who lives by my rules. Don't die wondering. So he does a number of wonderful things: lawyer, politician, and actor. So that's tomorrow. I'm grateful for that. 3, I'm grateful that even though the pool didn't know it was going to be too cold, I have other machines that I'm trying. I tried my first run on an elliptical machine, so that was interesting. And 4, I'm grateful that I have dropped 33 pounds since Valentine's Day. Number 5, I'm grateful that I've had 555 consecutive weeks on the air, which is, I never in a million years, if you had told me that was going to happen, would I have believed you. 6, I'm grateful that there are people who are supportive of positive news, positive shows that have made me the number 1 8 a.m. talk show in the IE. Number 7, that I get to, actually, I don't know if you know this, Polly, I'm starting a project with a client out in the IE in the new year. So I'm going to be going to the studios instead of remote a couple times a week. So that'll be fun. I'll get to see Polly in person. I have not met Polly in 3D yet. I've met Sam. So that'll be fun. Number 8, I am grateful that this is the season of joy, that this is a time when we hope that people are more humankind, maybe than they normally are. As my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, said yesterday when he was on stage at Agape International Spiritual Center, it is a time where people, momentarily or for the season are at peace with each other. They cease fire. They call it a truce. And I never thought about it, but he mentioned that if you can do that during the season, you can do that all the time. So here's the call to action for everyone who is at odds with anyone. And I'm not going to say 100%, but if you're at odds with more than 88% or more than 12% of the people that you have relationships with, maybe this is the season to bury the hatchet. Not in them. Don't bury the hatchet in them, but bury the hatchet so that you're in peace for the season. And maybe that'll help you be in peace with your relationships beyond that, because it truly is. Thank you for that thumbs up. It truly is a wonderful thing when you're not consumed with bitterness. You're not consumed with revenge. You're not consumed with hatred or animosity or anything that is a low vibrating energy. Because when you're there, you hurt your body, you hurt your immune system, your face doesn't look its best, and people will kind of avoid you and duck into the bathroom when you are coming by. So we want this season to continue to be the season of joy. So there's your challenge from Dr. Marissa. So that was the top of the bun for breakfast on my gratitude sandwich. We're going to move to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you appreciate about yourself? 8 specific things that you like about yourself. And the person that just gave me the finger, the thumbs up, I'd like you to play along with me and put in the chat, what are things that you like about yourself? And the reason why this actually we do before we go to bed. We do the gratitude in the morning and then the appreciation at night. And the reason why I do that is because normally if you are going to bed if you're an overachiever like I am, I'm thinking about what I didn't finish, what I have to do tomorrow, who did me wrong, who said that, how dare they said that. And so my mind's churning even more, and I can't sleep. And that is an epidemic now for a lot of us who have that squirrel mind, especially active at night. So the gratitude sandwich bottom of the bun is to replace that with the positive things about you. And that is a skill. It's a discipline. We're not used to advocating for ourselves. We're taught not to brag about ourselves or toot our own horn, or you're not all that. And, how dare you think yourself that well. And I'm not talking about that extreme egoism where you don't think your shiitake stinks. I am talking about just that, know what you're good at, know what you're not good at. But 80% of you is hot shiitake, and that's what we want to highlight and train ourselves to recognize. So 8 specific things that I like about myself. One is my ability to be open to receive inspiration. When I'm talking, I say, speak through me, don't let me get in the way, let the words be thine and the voice be mine, so that I am like a flute, as Rumi says, with which the power of inspiration and creativity and the energy, life chi, that's Chinese chi is eternal energy, that I use it when I practice my balanced Tai Chi Gong. That is what comes through the whole of the flute. That is me. That's a Rumi saying that I absolutely love. So I appreciate that I receive inspiration. I appreciate that I am always trying to do better. And I also appreciate that I've learned that I can't always do better. And sometimes I step in it. And the 12% that I step in it, I forgive myself. I appreciate that I have a great sense of humor and I love to laugh, starting with myself. 5, I appreciate that I know what I like and what I don't like. And that's a process of honoring my preferences and not changing depending on who wants me to be what. I appreciate that I have stamina, pink energizer bunny included. I appreciate that I have discipline, that sometimes I just need to do things even when I don't feel like it. And finally, I appreciate that I love 88% of the time. I know that I have struggled in the past with perfectionism. I want, because I grew up being taught inadvertently that the only time I was going to be loved was when I was perfect. So I had to unlearn that, still continuing to unlearn that, and that I am cool with being just 88% fab, and 12% I can allow myself to step in it. So there you are. That is the gratitude sandwich for the day. Thank you for having breakfast with me. Don't forget to do your appreciations tonight when you are about to go to bed. And if you could hit that applause. Thank you so much, Polly. I am now going to go into, and I was going to show you a video that I can't access for some reason on the computer. So I'm going to go grab my, oh dear. Let's see if I can find it. This is embarrassing. I gave my daughter's boyfriend, oh, there it is, a copy of my last copy, desk copy of my book. And there it is. And I had to go downstairs to the one in the car. But this is from 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. And if I can get my computer working by the time we come back from break, I was going to play. I actually have a new thing that I did this year, hashtag COVID Silver Lining. I had a chance to actually do a tutorial from the 8 chapters of the book. Those of you who have never seen this before, it is a #1 bestseller on Amazon and #4 on Denver Post, making it a national bestseller. And I was on tour with this book actually right before COVID. I was in China speaking at the embassy in Beijing. I also went to see the Terracotta Warriors, and that was 10 miles from Wuhan in November, right before the pandemic. And I was told afterwards that my airplane out of China was the last plane before they started taking temperatures before getting on the plane. So talk about good timing for me to get out in time. But yeah, so we're still waiting to go back. I was on TV at the Szechuan Radio and Television. My speaking partner, the beautiful, wonderful Jessica Cox for Limitless Women. We were there in China on tour. She is the first armless pilot in the Guinness World Book of Records. She was born without arms. And if you missed my interview on what then was the #1 station in the Philippines, we were there before China, and Karen Davila, who's called the Philippine Oprah, interestingly enough, on her show. You can get that on YouTube. Just go to my YouTube free subscribe channel and put in Dr. Marissa. And actually, you can get that just by putting in Dr. Marissa, Jessica Cox, and Karen Davila, and that should come up so you can watch that. All right. The reason why I told you that is because we were talking about going back on tour in China, but that got cut short by the pandemic. But anyways, I wanted to talk about ways in which we can deal with the loss during the holidays. And I know that in my life, I lost my dad to lymphoma, and he was my rock, and I could fall back into him. And so that was a tough one. And holidays were tough because, obviously he's not on this side anymore, and I couldn't see him. My Destiny, my beautiful dog, who was my #1 love. She's in doggy heaven. All the people that you have loved and lost, even though they're really not lost. We know where they are. They're in heaven. They're on the other side. We're all going there. But it is a tough time. And I'm not saying that we should be happy about it. But if you are modeling for the entire season of joy, then you kind of you're not doing yourself a service. You're losing this whole time where there is so much joy. So here are some exercises is what I wanted to talk about today to help you with that. But before we go to the exercises, at the beginning of every chapter in my book, I have like a little identification exercise. So, Polly, you can play along. I know you lost your grandma not that long ago. So when you're thinking about her or anyone who is listening now, think of someone who you are missing, not because I want to put you in a funk right now, but I want to take you through the process that I have in this book, that if you are not familiar, every single chapter has exercises so that you can do some healing work if there's places where you're stuck. And loss is definitely one of those places that sort of keeps us from being fully happy, because we always have that overhang. So I'll just go ahead and take you through this. So this is chapter 2. If you have the book, page 19. Who do you miss? I missed my dad, Dr. David Pay, my best friend, Michael Main, my dog, Destiny, my cousin, George, my friend, Dr. Jimmy, my surrogate dad, Dr. Carl McCraven, my Russian Jewish grandmother, Anna Blum. All but 2 died before their time, unexpectedly from lymphoma, AIDS, stroke, heart attack, and cancer. And yes, it does hurt. So take a breath. And releasing, soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees, and just sort of sit still with that feeling. It hurts when people die in a tragedy. And I know that I got to spend some time with people who lost loved ones in the Seal Beach salon shooting tragedy. That was my first up front and close experience with gun violence and a tragedy. When people die before their time, when people die unexpectedly. So as I'm reading, if you can identify, nod your head if you know someone, or if you can identify the feelings that are going through as you remember them. When people die in old age, my mom's 88, my Chinese mom, they say at the stage of palliative, on that palliative scale, she has, 6 months to a year or 3 months to a year, who knows? But we know that it is not for 10 years because of where her health is. I have my bonus mom who's 90, just turned 90. My bonus dad, he's 93. And, your body just doesn't last forever. So it's been tough watching them go through that. So it doesn't, tragedy is horrific, but even when people die in their, natural old age, you're going to miss them. Definitely. When children die before their parents, I think that is like one of the top 3 pains in life, they say, along with divorce and moving. But the number one is a death of a child. When people die from addiction, and there's a lot of those that we can remember, tragedy. That's tragic. Robin Williams, for sure, is my one that I think of. When people die from suicide, again, Kate Spade is the one that I think of. She's proof that notoriety and money do not make you happy. When babies die, when parents die, when family members die. My cousin George, that was a tough one. When family members die, when friends die, when pets die, when people around the world die of starvation, of genocide, of war, of natural disasters, when people die from freak accidents, when people die from acts of war and terrorism. Now take a deep breath, close your eyes, and allow yourself to remember who you miss. Take another deep breath. And in the exhale, I want you to follow that breath into your heart. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Still your mind. And let yourself feel sad. It's time to face the pain that sometimes we stuff, hide, or marinate in to the point of paralysis. And I have a lot of coaching clients who come in who can't stop crying. And one of the reasons why is they've stuffed feelings of pain and loss so long, and you can't just keep stuffing. At some point, there's a breaking point, and your body will just, let go. And uncontrollable crying is one of those symptoms that you have been stuffing for a long time. We're going to go there now and find a way out of that aching pain that never seems to get better, from the pain of loss, which keeps happiness fleeting. Check all that apply. Now, these are the statements and you have that voice in your head, that the monkey brain or the monkey chatter, or those statements that keep hitting you and not allowing you to find peace of mind or peace of heart. I can't stop missing you. I really can't go on without you. Why can't I stop crying? And in any of these that you identify with, go ahead and nod your head yes. It wasn't his time. It wasn't her time. How could God let this happen? Why do the good ones go first? I didn't get to say goodbye. I can't imagine life without him or her. I would give anything to be the one to die instead of them. I can't feel my heart anymore. I want to die and be with them. I want to end this feeling of heartbreak. Please stop. Why should I bother anymore? Life is so unfair. I don't care anymore. Why should I care? If I died, it would be a relief. I can't take this anymore. Please let me stop this pain. Give me something to take this feeling away. No one understands how I feel. You can't possibly understand. I will never be able to get past this pain. Sound familiar? If you have checked or nodded more than half, I feel you. Losing someone you loved more than itself there's really no word that can capture the feeling of that deep black vacuum called loss. There's a model by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross called The Stages of Death and Dying, which describes the denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance that individuals cycle through when there is loss. But even knowing there's a theory doesn't guarantee that we don't get stuck in the happiness robbing pain of loss. So if you're continuing to feel like that loss was yesterday, especially during the holidays, then you're going to want to do this work to heal. If you're mad and confused and angry at God for the loss, keep reading, keep working at this process. If you're numb and just waiting to die for the pain to go away, then just keep reading. And this is the beginning of the chapter called Out of Loss into Faith. And definitely, I'm here. This book is not written as a psychologist telling you how to be happy. This is from someone who has experienced every single part of the loss and the pain of loss. And the exercises are to help you heal from that. So I'm giving a copy of this book away for the first person. This is the Asian Oprah giveaway, and I'll do it at the end of the show. So continue to stay tuned here. We're going to talk about solution when we come back. I'm going to give you some tools that will begin to help you deal with the loss so that it does not keep haunting you during the holidays. Here on Take My Advice, I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you can get all of the 743 shows now. This is my 555th consecutive week on the air. I'm so grateful for that. You can also watch you just saw the trailer for an amazing hashtag COVID silver lining. I was able to spend some time putting together a short film. It is my debut short film. You can watch it. Tell me what you think. One of my past guests, the filmmaker Seth Greenleaf, calls it a vitamin B12 shot for more hope and happiness. And I'm always grateful for that. It won one laurel already. I'm so grateful for that. And I am so happy that I see lots of comments. And the bad news is I have lost the ability to somehow access them. So hello and thank you. Polly, if you can put the next one up there, as long as it's no, not that one. I saw that one. There's other ones there, so I can see if there's any questions there, because I have been dealing with loss. This is the show where I had a client come in where I was asked, how do you deal with the holiday blues? How do you deal with the loss that is part of the holidays? That is, it's a realistic time where people are processing grief, maybe to the extreme. So they haven't dealt with it all year. And then during the holidays, boom, they're just using that time, and then they lose the joy of the season. So I'm taking you through both the ways in which you can identify, which is what we did before the break. I was trying to show you one of the chapter processes that I put together as a study guide, but I'm doing it in person because somebody didn't want me to do that because I can't access it for some reason on the computer. But I'm really glad that you are all still here and wanting to look for solutions to claim your birthright to be happy 88% of the time. Also on my YouTube channel that I'm pushing, because that is the central place. And I also get a little money energy for my nonprofit, 8 Ways to Happiness, on the YouTube channel. And that is where I do the commenting as well. All right. Let me give you a piece of my mind. And this is a PEAC instead of piece in the traditional piece of pie. Why do we suffer when we lose people that we love? Why do we blame an angry, vengeful, uncaring God when tragedy strikes? Why do we lose faith in the goodness of life, ourselves, and others? Somewhere along the line, we think that we're all entitled to a long and fruitful life and even live forever. Even when our loved ones died of old age, we're still consumed with grief. We take it personally that if life was fair, we would all live to 100 in good health and die in our sleep. And so anything less than that means we're being picked on. We're not supposed to get sick. We're not supposed to lose loved ones. We're supposed to be awarded with an easy life as long as we're good people and follow the 10 commandments, go to church, and volunteer in the community. So how is that BS belief system working for you? As another one of my teachers and past guest, Neil Donald Walsh, says in his book, Conversations with God. And by the way, Neil actually was kind enough to give me the back cover endorsement. I was telling my friends yesterday, Dan and Kathy, that he usually doesn't do that, but he actually has to read the book. So I'm grateful for that. But going back, what he says is what God said in his book, what God said. You think you are being terrorized by other people, but in truth, you are being terrorized by your own beliefs. What if we choose a different truth to awaken to life with? So I'm going to put the moose on the table on this one. That's my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. Because there's a lot of people that do blame God when they lose a loved one early. They blame themselves, they blame other people. And the truth is, or they walk around going, life is not fair. Life sucks. I hate life. If God were all love, he wouldn't have taken that person away. If God was fair, this wouldn't have happened. And that angry reaction and resentment and bitterness does not work for a happy life. And you can insist on blaming someone or looking for someone to blame when you have pain in life. But the truth is, the reality is, pain in life is mandatory. Let me say that again. Pain in life is mandatory. There is no such thing as a pain-free life. If you know someone who has not been touched by any kind of pain, I'll give you something. I have yet to meet anyone who has not had some kind of pain in life. And the expectation that you think you're special, that you shouldn't have pain in your life is kind of ridiculous. So if pain in life is mandatory, then why live? Why do we have life? I don't want to have a pain in life to suffer through for life. I'd rather not live. And you hear that. You heard it in the identification piece that I read before the break. So I want to die because I can't handle this pain. Now, I have heard, and I do, prescribe part of the time that suicide, is a permanent solution to a temporary feeling, a temporary problem. And I want to, put this moose on the table that if you are feeling the kind of pain that is that debilitating because of a loss, you have every right to grieve and to be in pain. And that is normal and natural when you have death, unexpected death, when you have tragedy, when someone breaks your heart in a betrayal. It does feel bad, but it is temporary. It is a feeling, and it is just a feeling, and feelings do pass. But unfortunately, we are now in a place where it is good that we're recognizing depression. We are recognizing mental health. It is absolutely time for that. But let's not take that pendulum all the way to the other end, as we tend to do, all or nothing Americans. This is our thing. We like to swing that pendulum all the way. And now feelings are the only thing that matter. That is bullshit-talkie. You can have feelings that feel horrible and horrific, and you can still choose to live through the feeling. Please understand that I am not knocking people for feeling badly for a while, but I am advocating that people who only care about their feelings don't swing that pendulum that far, that that's the only thing that's important. Your feelings are important, And your mind is also important. Your choices are important. Your mental health is balanced from emotions to also choice and decisions and intelligence and emotional intelligence. And you can train your mind and you can use the most powerful tool that you have called choice. First of all, to say, okay, this is kind of ridiculous that I think I'm going to have a life that is pain free. That is not reality. At the same time, I don't have to be in so much pain all of the time that I'm suffering. Pain in life is mandatory, suffering is optional. Suffering for a little time is normal and healthy. To feel the pain fully, that's a tool that I use. If you're feeling grief, feel it fully. Do not go, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm fine. Fine stands for effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. That is not what I'm talking about. I am not saying that you need to feel just fine. But what a lot of us do is we reach for something to get rid of that feeling quickly, whether it's food or shopping or working out or gambling or eating or raging or drinking or whatever it is, or that pill that gives you a temporary numbing, but then it comes back. What you do not deal with will come back and deal with you. So the first thing I'm asking people to do, if you're feeling the blues, if you're feeling the holiday, don't push it away. Do this exercise. Sit with the feeling, sit with the pain. Allow yourself the muscle and ability to know that you can feel grief and loss and survive that feeling. You will not feel like this forever when you understand that you are processing pain. This is a discipline. This is a skill. This is something you're not taught how to do. When you're little, if you fall and you start crying, you're told it's okay, stop crying. I was told when I was young, if you cry, I'm going to hit you harder. Okay. I know that I'm not alone. 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma. If your parents, well meaning, more mean than well sometimes, said to you, stop crying, I will give you something to cry about. That is one of the worst things that we can do to ourselves because we're a natural, sensitive, emotional being. Now, again, I'm not asking you to cry all the time. I am asking you to cry once a week. It is good to release negative energy. It takes up more volume than positive energy in your being. It's important to cry. Tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. If you're hurting, hurt. Feel it. Allow yourself to hurt. Allow yourself to hug yourself. Allow yourself to call someone and say, I'm just feeling sad because I'm missing my dad. Can you just sit here with me for 2 minutes and allow me to feel the pain? And when you feel it fully, 2 minutes is all it takes. You will feel better. But if you continue to stop that feeling and saying, I'm okay, or look for someone to blame, or stuff that feeling, then you are in trouble. Then that feeling goes deeper and deeper. And when you crush down garbage in a garbage disposal truck, what happens? It gets compacted, okay? You get stuck and it turns into liquid. What do you do when you keep pulling liquid down? It turns into gas. And usually people by midlife opportunity, those are my clients, most of my executive coaching clients, they've been successful squashing down pain. Someone killed themselves. Someone died early. There was a tragedy. They don't talk about it. They don't think about it. I had a client who was 9 years old when he walked into the study. His father blew his brains out right in front of him at 9 years of age. He was told never to talk about it. That was worse damage right there. So he did not talk about it, didn't deal with it until he got to midlife. I was a facilitator in the T groups that UCLA put together, and he was finally able to release that pain that was part of the healing. So if you're carrying pain that you have not processed, I'm going to give, I'm not going to limit it to one. Whoever wants to process through in the chapter 2, Out of Loss into Pain, from my best-selling book, the audio book, go to drmarissa.life. That's my holiday gift to you. I don't want you to suffer for one more holiday blue season. Just go to drmarissa.life. In the subject line, fill it in and just say holiday blues, and I'll get you the audiobook link for you to download that, okay? Because it is time. It's time for everyone to not automatically say, holidays just mean pain. That's not true. I want you to exercise the same way with the gratitude sandwich. Choose to see things differently. And here's the thing I'm going to ask you. This is the tool called Remembering Them Whole. So what does that mean? That means the person that you have the most difficulty remembering because of the pain in your heart that comes every time you remember them, especially during the holidays. I want you to do this exercise and begin to write a book about that person so that you're training your mind to rise or balance out your feelings of loss with the feeling of appreciation, remembering every good thing that happened in your relationship with that person. So you're giving your mind the ability to strengthen the balancing of the natural pain of what was it that happened in that last year, the last month when you had to pull the plug. That's a horrible memory, right? No, but it's usually the memory of that person, which is a horrible way to remember that person. Don't remember them in their last, in my case, my father's last 8 months with a lymphoma. That's not how I remember my father. I remember him, and I tell stories during the holidays to my kids from my book that I wrote. Actually, I wrote it for him while he was still alive. Every single chapter has a beautiful memory of my dad. And I read him, What I Learned from My Father was the name of the book. So you can do that too. What I loved about whoever it is. And every single antidote is a chapter that you can, feel the feeling fully, feel the loss, and then balance it with remembering them whole. And write this story. Every single one of my coaching clients will tell you that it was not easy to do at the beginning. It was not easy to do that kind of work, to force yourself to write through the tears, which are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft and never something to apologize for. Allow that, and then you will have this beautiful balancing of who that person is and continues to be. And I will finish this show with a story that I had a dream. So you can substitute my dad with your loved one, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is where your loved one is. I had a dream and I was missing my dad, and I was flying in the dream. And I literally flew up into the sky and into the heavens. And I saw a group of people sitting around a large, big screen TV. And that TV was just, I could see it. So I flew in closer, 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 trying to see what they were watching. I saw my dad, and the closer I got, I started hearing, applause, and I started hearing woohoo, like they would stand up every once in a while and cheer on. And then, I flew closer and closer. I was like really intrigued. And the closer I got, I saw my dad, and I saw Dr. Jimmy, and I saw Michael. I saw all of the people that had gone to the other side, and they were laughing, and they were healthy, and no disease. And it was bright, and there was music playing, and loudest though was this broadcast from the TV. And what was the broadcast? It was me and my life. And every single time something great happened, they would stand and cheer. And then when things were not good, they would say, "Oh, God bless her. Oh, here's a hug." They were present for my life from the other side. Every single person that you miss is there cheering you on and loving you in a way that they couldn't do from this side. And that is where your loved one is. I know this. I know this for you. You can believe it. And then until you can believe it, believe that I believe it. And that is my holiday gift to you today. Go to drmarissa.life, 8 Ways to Happiness. That's from chapter 2. Thank you. I can't believe there's 23 comments. I've never seen so many comments, and I can't get to them, but know that I love you. Know that this is going to be the best holiday season ever for you. If you are just coming in and you haven't heard this special broadcast today about healing from loss and the holiday blues, then go to my YouTube channel and get that. This is Dr. Marissa during 2022 holiday season, reminding you it is all about balance. Balance the pain with the joy of the season. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. Tune in tomorrow with my fabulous interview with actor, lawyer, politician Peter Lawson Jones, or Peter Jones Lawson. I apologize. I can't get it in front of me right now because my mouse is gone. But I am knowing that you will enjoy all of the shows. A holiday concert singing with Majan on the 23rd, and then the rest of the week we'll be back with all of my Smart Talk with Straight Talk with Sam Works on Thursdays, and Colette Tracy, my co-host for Real Women Talk. All right, that's it. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best holiday season ever. Thank God. Oh my God. Thank God. Thank you. Was I too late? Stupid things. Ah.